else that you talk a lot about that I was not familiar with, and I still don't really know what it means. You're going to have to define it for me. But what is NLP?
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's basically the study of the mind and how you think, and how you think makes you do what you do. And when you do what you do, that's the reactions that you get out in the world. And then that becomes basically your life.
So you are certified.
I am.
Right? How is this what makes you like the life coach for coaches? Like, is that what you tap into or what you pull from when you're working with your clients?
Ooh, you were trying to get spicy
Let's
early
get
on.
Spicy.
We just got here, y'all, and she's trying to get spicy already. I didn't even know she was going to ask me this, but it's all good. It's all good. It is one of the things that really helps me tap in deep. It is a very deep science. I mean, I have a degree in psychology. That's actually my first degree. Okay. But NLP is a very deep science that when you can really tap into what makes someone think the way they think, and more importantly, how did they establish that thought process, which happens when you were a child, then you can undo, like, for instance, a scarcity mindset. If you have a scarcity mindset as a whole adult, there's something that happened in your childhood that had you take that on. For instance, if you were in a household where they said, when you went in the grocery store, if they said, don't look at nothing, don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing,
because you ain't getting nothing.
That had you believe that there's not enough.
Facts.
So as an adult, you carry that on, and next thing you know, you can't even go out on a date without trying to, what is she going to order? And you don't know where that came from, nickel and diming. Or when you start charging for coaching, you want to charge, $20. You're not about to change nobody's life for $20 because the person that's signing up for $20 doesn't really want to change their life.
This is true.
But we're not going to talk about that yet.
We might get into it because never mind, I almost said so. Yeah, we'll wait.
Yes, we'll wait.
We'll wait.
So it's really looking at why are people conditioned how they are and how can we undo that. And it gets deep into breaking generational curses.
So this reminds me, and this is not on my notes, y'all, but this reminds me of a conversation I had with one of my mentors, and she literally said she did not make her first $1 million until she forgave her father, until she got over her daddy issues. And that was such like a mind-blowing statement for me, because we don't think that deep. We think that I'm not making the money because I haven't figured out the strategy yet. We never think about like the psychological part of how all of that is making us stagnant, or how that could be keeping us stuck, and why we keep hitting that same wall. We can climb, work, but for some reason we just can't have that breakthrough. And so that makes total sense what you just said.
Yes, because it's way deeper than the surface level. It's way deeper than something that you're going to find on YouTube. And I'm gonna say it, since can I say it?
You can say whatever you want to say.
That whole NLP talk is a stigma in the African American community because they think that you're over there working roots or something like that, and it's really not. Once you understand the science, when I show me going to my seminars and whatnot, I always get flack in my DMs. Why are you doing that? Well, first of all, this is my page, which makes it my mic. So
you can stage, baby.
In my stage, you can unlike, unfollow, untap into, uncreep, all of those things. But it is, I have changed many lives with the practice of it.
I saw you breaking boards.
I
saw you at your seminars, and that's all mindset, right?
Because it's all mindset.
Physically, you got to first.
It's all mindset. You have to believe that you can do it. When I facilitate those board breaking ceremonies, I tell the ladies, see your hand already through the board.
How hard is it, Coach Kelly? Because I ain't gonna lie, when I saw you do it, I was like, I think I'm a bad mamma jamma, but breaking the board.
You could do it if you believe that you can.
It take a couple days though. Y'all work up to that, right? To get
we
to the
do, because when they come to the retreat, I have a 4-day retreat once a quarter. Well, 2-day retreat, 4 for my highest clients, but a 2-day retreat once a quarter. And I give them the boards as the first exercise.
Okay.
And I have them write on the front of the board everything they want to accomplish, and then on the back of the board write down everything that's holding them back. And they have to carry that board without them throughout the weekend. So they're writing down all the things as they're surfacing. And by the end of the retreat, our last exercise is, okay, it's time to break the board and break through these things and let them go.
So you're certified yourself, but you're actually teaching this to other coaches?
Yes.
Okay. So do they get certified through you?
Not yet. Okay. I've considered offering a certification level.
Just not yet?
Not yet. Okay. I'm going to, but not yet. I have to do some more teaching in our culture to really get what it is, because I don't want it to have the stigma it has. Mm-hmm. But it's a really deep science. I'm thinking right now, should I give you an example?
Give the example. Don't hold back here. Girl, stop playing. We want all the goods.
This is Girl Stop Playin.
We want all the goods.
Okay, so I had a retreat 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm not going to say the person's name. So this is with my
all the goods.
All the goods, because it's their private private business, and this is with my highest level clients, expansion clients. And there is a practice within NLP where you can really take someone subconsciously into their past.
Is it hypnotizing them? Are you hypnotizing?
No, not necessarily. Although I am a hypnotherapist.
You doing sessions?
But I don't.
Do you offer this or only to your clients?
To my clients.
Okay.
To my clients.
Okay.
But it's kind of a light.
That's deep.
It's kind of a light form of it. But what happened with her was she had, and like I said, she's in my highest level program, so we could do this exercise. She had been invited to speak at a conference on leadership, where she was replacing. They had the president of Dell cancel, and they called her at the last minute and asked her to do it, and she's like, I can't do it. I told them yes, but I'm trying to read all of these books to make sure that I knew it. And I'm like, but they ask you without the books. They already ask you, so what makes you think you need to read the book? So she was really, really spun up about this. And so I told her right then, I said, are you ready to go deep in this and release what's making you think you can't do it? And she says yes. And so I invited her up in front of everyone, and it's a safe space. I establish a safe space wherever I'm at, right? And I took her through an exercise where she closed her eyes. I didn't tell her to close her eyes. Once we started talking, she got comfortable enough to close her eyes. And so I asked her, is it okay for your unconscious, your subconscious? Your subconscious is the part of you that makes your heart beat, that makes your blood flow. Like, you're not even thinking about it. Like, here's an example. Have you ever driven home and you thought you were going to, and you just got there, but you were like, man, I was supposed to stop at the grocery store. Well, that's your subconscious. So that's running all the time. The thing is, your subconscious is a record of everything you've ever been through in your life. It doesn't forget, it stores it, even though you're not consciously thinking about it. So, and it goes back, not just right now, but in previous generations.
I was going to say, you're going to say past lives, huh? That's a thing.
It's a thing.
I'm into it, Coach Kelly, so
it's about to get
make
spicy.
A believer out of me.
So she said, so I took her through the process, and she says, and y'all, I didn't plan to tell about this, but there's a reason. Some of y'all want to know. Yes. It's getting real spicy because I haven't talked about this publicly because it scares people, but it's a real thing.
I am into it. Let's get into it.
She said, "This is your mic."
Yes, this is my mic, my stage. If you don't like it, don't log off though, because just stay around.
Right.
You might need this.
So I asked her, basically, where did it come from? Or would you allow your unconscious mind to tell me, to say out loud, where did it come from? And she says, when I was in the 5th grade, the teacher called me up to the board, and he asked me a question, and I got it wrong, and the teacher basically lit into her.
Humiliated her.
He humiliated her, and she carried that with her for the rest of her life. Well, in NLP, when something affects you for the rest of your life is typically before you were 3 years old. So I had to go back deeper and say what happened before then. She closed her eyes, and she began to say, and we were just like leaning in like, what's she going to say? What's she going to say? And she says, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. And we didn't know what she was referencing, right? And so when she comes back, and I'm like, and I told her, whatever it is you're seeing, whatever it is you're feeling, just gather those learnings and know that basically you weren't there. It wasn't your fault. And we can agree to let it go right now. Tell me what you're feeling now. And she says, the feelings are gone. So as she comes back, conscious, even though she wasn't unconscious. She just was just closing her eyes, coming back into. It's just like yoga, meditation, and yoga. It's just like that. So she comes back, and we're like, "What did you see? What did you happen? What were you recalling?" Y'all ready for this?
I ain't ready, but let's hear it.
What she said? She said, "I saw slaves." She said, "I saw slaves having a meeting." And we were like, what?
Did anybody get up and run out of the room?
No.
Wow.
They couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, look at my face.
Right. We couldn't. And this just happened 2 weeks ago.
This is your room, though. So what do you say next, Coach Kelly?
I just let her share what she saw. I never know what a person is going to experience in that moment. So she shared what she saw, and she said her breakthrough was that it was not her fault. And so now she realizes that she was operating her life off of something that was not her fault. And she says it happened on my father's side. How would she know that? How would she know?
That's really deep.
Yes.
Coach Kelly, I want one of these sessions. I want it in private, though, not up in front of the room, but I want to tap in. I think
there was only about 9 of us in the room, so it was okay.
Though in regards to what you said about people, having like this stigma around it is witchcraft. I, am a very open-minded person, especially when it comes to this space and these types of conversations. And so I just feel like if we tapped into not even the witchcraft, but the things that are people. We've been doing this. Like, this comes from us, but we've gotten so far away from it that we think it's evil, or we think it's all of these things that have literally been a part of our people's way of doing things for so long.
And I don't really talk about it openly. I can't even believe, honestly, that I'm talking about it on the podcast right now. I don't know what you did.
Yes.
I don't, because it has such a stigma. But I have seen the way it has changed people's lives. And that's just one form of NLP. There's so many other different things, language patterns, all kinds
So
of
how
things.
do you, aside from you actually using these practices with your clients, how do you feel like it's helped you build your business or grow your business, just having this skill set and also the psychology degree?
It has helped me understand why I do what I do. Because it starts with the person first. It helps me understand why I do what I do, and are these my thoughts? Like, when I have a negative thought, is it mine, or is it something that my parents believed and I never changed it for myself?
We have so many of those.
And
usually it just takes like therapy for you to figure that out.
Right.
And most of us don't even want to go to therapy. So then you live your whole life.
That had a stigma for a long time.
It still does. Because for a lot of, and I am an advocate for therapy. I mention it probably on every show. And I'm still in therapy right now. And I'm proud of myself. I love that for me. Okay? I love that for me.
Right. And I love that for you.
Because it's
10 years ago, it would have been like, oh, yeah.
That girl must be crazy. But guess what? We've
evolved,
something.
And we've all got something.
Yes,
if you're not in therapy, you need to be in therapy. That's the problem. You don't think you need it. Right?
Yeah, and you the main, be the
you
main
the main one.